Hello, and welcome into the channel. My name is Unchallenged, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a part 2 to Heroes Downfall, our text-based RPG game. This will be Indie Devlog number 2. So in this video, I want to go ahead and cover some of the updates and changes that I've made over the last 2 weeks. There's a bunch of changes, so I'm not sure if we'll go through each one out loud, or that we'll see those changes in the game as we go through the quick demo. So, with that said, if you guys are brand new here to the channel, definitely go down below, give this video a big ol' thumbs up on the video, subscribe if you guys are not yet subscribed, and drop some comments down in the comment section below at any time during the video. If you guys have a suggestion, a comment, you just want to say hello, I do appreciate all the feedback in the last video and all of the feedback in the Discord and channel. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the video. So this is basically Heroes Downfall, a text-based adventure game. I did go ahead and make a whole Discord channel dedicated to the dev blog of the creation of the game with some of the planned features. So if you guys are interested in checking it out, there is a link down in the description below to join the Discord server. I did have a Minecraft server. I play World of Warcraft on the side, so there's a bunch of things in there as well, besides just kind of chatting in the normal Discord. So Heroes Downfall is the dev blog here. We can see the Heroes Downfall, you play as an ancient orc who was once revered as an old god who has been resurrected to reclaim the dominion of the so-called heroes. You gotta navigate the catacombs, gather powerful relics, and unleash your vengeance in the scripting text-based adventure game. Some of the planned features, such as multiple classes. Each class has unique stats, unique abilities. They're able to choose different perks and the beneficial gear for their specific class. There'll be different difficulties from normal, hard, and extreme, and there's player inventory. I do have percentages next to the items that I've kind of worked out 100%, right? Each of the classes, we do have multiple classes now in the game, but they do have unique stats, but I'm still working on adjusting them and tweaking them to their perfect level. As far as unique special abilities, only the Shadow Blade, like the warrior style class, has a set of offensive and defensive abilities that are unique to him. Our Shadow Master, the rogue style character, isn't quite there yet, and all the other classes are not quite there, so that is at 20%. And then we kind of go down the list here. Each of the game will include like gears, items to collect from different items, equipment, health potions, and torches and stuff. You'll be able to do turn-based enemy combat. So there is turn-based combat with attack and defensive states at the moment right now. I would like to add some combat stances such as offensive, neutral, and defensive. That was a comment in the last video. Mini bosses, end bosses. We do have the ability now to buy and sell because we have had a number of changes. These were some of the initial planned features, and then I've made a number of changes and additions to the game ever since we released our last video. And I was talking with another developer here where a lot of my dungeons in the first video were very linear. So I had multiple dungeons now. These are side adventures you can go on as you're going through this text-based adventure. You'll come across like an ancient ruins, and it says, hey, do you want to enter? When you enter the ancient ruins, the abandoned mine, the subterranean river, forgotten library, it was very linear. So I went ahead and posted a picture of the old method versus the new method. So here, all of the adventures were very linear with movement in a singular direction. We're spanning buttons, which would eventually get you to the end, and not so much worried about traps, taking damage, any sort of treasures along the way. You could just hit buttons and reach the end, right? Here was the old method where as soon as you saw there was some adventure, you could hit buttons because it didn't matter if you hit west, north, or east. Some of these options would hit you with a trap. Some of them would get you into a battle encounter. Some of them would pick up treasure or items, but either way, no matter what you hit, you would always move in a linear progression path. Like there was no way to choose the wrong direction. So I came up with a new method of creating dungeons where you would still enter into that dungeon chamber 1, but in this case, you would actually have to maneuver your way through and pay attention to where you're fighting, right? You would go into a specific chamber, you would have options to the east, to the west. If you move to the west, you would have options to the east or to the north, and so on. And here would be items, treasure, mini bosses. You'd have to require a key, which you'd have to find within the dungeon. And this is the new method. So we're going to cover that in this video as well. We're going to look at an old dungeon style where we could just kind of spam buttons and get to the end, defeat the boss, and get the treasure. And then we'll look at the new option as well. So these are all of the changes that I've kind of implemented into the game, as well as I've added the chance to hit, crit, and dodge has been added. And there's been some magic wells that have been added. Additional adventures, goblin shop where we can buy and sell items, but I don't know if that was all in the last video or not. But there's been a lot of progression in the last 2 weeks, so we'll go ahead and get into the actual gameplay. This is a quick demo. It's about 20 stairs. The way I'm looking at this game is that it's played very similar to a board game. You start at your very first board space at space 0, and you have to progress through the board as if you're drawing cards from a shuffle deck. You have the options to get into a battle encounter a shop, get access to a side adventure, come across chests, treasure. You know, it's just a random thing you have to go through as you're making your way. And as we said in the Discord, this is all about an ancient god who was resurrected as a last resort in order to take back the kingdom from the so-called heroes, right? So here's all of the official classes that will be in the game. There's the Shadowblade, the Warbringer, the Arcane Weaver, the Shadow Ranger, and the Dark Paladin. We're looking at this as an old ancient resurrected orc god. So I'm looking at it as more of like the villain style classes and that aspect of the game. So instead of the traditional rogue, warrior, wizard, ranger, hunter, and the paladin, these are more of the darker end, right? So if we pick the Shadowblade, you'll go ahead and go into the story. You awaken at the bottom of the catacombs. The air is thick with the stench of battle. Orcs lay scattered around, having just cast a spell to resurrect you. The silence is shattered by distant echoes of footsteps, heroes no doubt, descending to plunder and destroy. The path ahead beckons, shrouded in darkness and danger, but you, a creature of the abyss, have no choice but to follow it. Your ascent begins now, each step bringing you closer to the light above and the heroes who dare to challenge your domain. And then we have our character stats here. We have our base stats of 15 health, 10 mana, attack 1, defense 1, reflex 2. So we did change some of the stats around. I got rid of block because not every class will use block and have a shield in the final game. So I went ahead and changed that stat from block rating to defense because each class can utilize defense in the way that I want it, where it reduces incoming damage by a specific amount. Speed was changed because the speed variable, it didn't make sense in how I wanted to use it with the reflex to be able to attack first or attack or go into defensive state first. The reflex mod is also being used as a hit modifier, a crit modifier, and a dodge modifier. So depending on if you're faster or have a higher reflex than the opponent, then you'll be able to dodge them, crit them, and hit them a lot easier versus if you have less reflex than the opponent. And then we start at floor 0, which is our initial floor, and then we got to progress up through the floor. And then here we have our character tab, which just shows that we're Namish, the Shadowblade, and that our inventory is empty as far as our slots and our basic stats. I'm not sure 100% of what I want to have in the character tab. Besides, I do want to have the character's name. I'll probably have an option so that players can enter their own name, but still show the class that they chose, as long with a snippet underneath here, like what the class special abilities are, his offensive abilities, defensive abilities, and stuff. So if you guys have suggestions for that, let me know down below. And then we have the inventory, which again kind of shows some of the same stuff here. The inventory, but this will get moved over into the character tab, maybe. Not 100%. It may still be here in the inventory along with the backpack, but these stats here will appear over here. So these are some of the options that I'm still kind of playing with as far as how I want it to best be displayed. Okay, so anyways, we're gonna go ahead. We just woken up and we're gonna go head upstairs. So you ascend the stairs and behold a fallen hero's corpse bathed in the dim eerie light. With a mixture of curiosity and hunger, you approach, drawn to the gleam of his armor and the artifact stone around him. His armor glints faintly, and scattered around are various artifacts, each holding a mysterious allure. This hero's demise is now your gain, a testament to the strength that now courses through your veins. So we're able to loot the corpse. So this guy, the text needs to be updated because I can't read the text here that appears. So for this game, we'll go ahead and update the event text from black to white. Because, yeah, that needs to happen. Otherwise, we can't read what happens. So here we take the Vicious Short Sword. It gives us 3 to 6 attack. So our attack rating, our base was 1. We now add an additional 3 to 6 to our attack, and we loot the other item. And we take a Sturdy Buckler with +1 to our defense. So these all kind of show up in the same way as they had before, with the inventory and the stats being adjusted. Okay, we'll go ahead and head upstairs, and we go into our first battle encounter. Some of the colors need to be adjusted. I did like the darker tone with the background versus the imaged stuff. So a lot of the colors here that you see will probably continue to be adjusted and tweaked throughout the process of what works best, what looks best, what colors go best. But here we were faster than the opponent, so we snuck up on him. We have the option to attack first or flee. If I try and flee, sorry, you don't have enough gold because our gold is 0. We're not able to flee, so we'll have to attack this guy. We'll use a weapon. So you attack with the Vicious Short Sword, dealing 4 damage. So a lot of the combat we've already gone through in the past. So I will just kind of take this guy out. He did do 1 damage. I did 100% damage to him. This guy got knocked out. We go through the inspection of the body. We got some treasure. We took a helmet, which gives us +1 to our life. So we go ahead and continue. A lot of this is similar to the past. This is new. So a magical well has appeared in front of you. It appears to be red. So these are magical wells, very similar to like health shrines, mana shrines, the purple shrines that will be able to rejuvenate both health and mana. This is something that I thought would be very cool and interesting. Something from the Diablo 2 era. So we can go ahead and drink from the magic well, and then it rejuvenates our life, in this case because it was red. But we already had full life because we recovered a little bit from the last battle. All of the random, it's right now, it's very similar to just drawing a card out of a deck. There's no ratios or percentages of how often something will happen right now, but this will all change in the end, where I will not be hitting the same event multiple times in a row. So here we hit the well, the magic well again. So I'm going to go ahead and skip it. Here we see, as you ascend, the stand of a jingling coins leads you to a makeshift shop run by a grizzled goblin trader. He offers rare items and dark artifacts for sale. Do you wish to trade your gold for valuable items? So here we now have the option to enter the shop. We can buy some items, but guess what? If we try and buy it, sorry, you don't have enough gold. So right now we only have 8 gold. We haven't gone very far in our adventure. Our backpack is empty, so we can't really sell anything. But we do have the option to sell items from the inventory by clicking in here. If we did have something in our inventory, it would show here in the backpack with the button here to sell it. But we don't have anything, so as we progress, we'll go ahead and leave the shop. And as you ascend back into the depths of the catacombs, the flickering light of the goblin shop fades away. The jingle of coins in the goblin's raspy voice becomes distant echoes, leaving you alone once more with the heavy silence and creepy shadows. So we'll go ahead and finally leave the shop, and we go into a chamber. So here a faint humming draws your attention to a hidden nook. Inside you find a burial chamber, resting place of ancient orcish warriors. Do you wish to open the chamber? Yes. And we got some treasure. We take a deadly short sword, but ours is better, so we sold it for 10 gold. So now we got 18 gold. We'll move up. We came across the goblin shop once again. We'll go into the goblin shop this time. Well, I only have 18 gold, but I will go ahead and show you guys what we can do here. So if we do buy a key, it says that we bought a key. If we go to sell items from the inventory, here we're able to sell that key. So here, keys were 10 gold. If we want to sell it, it's half price. So here our gold is 8. If we sell the item, our gold to be adjusted up by 5. So 8 plus 5 is 13. And it lets us know that we sold the key. We can go ahead and close the inventory. And actually, how much gold do I have? I have 13 gold. I can't afford anything at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the shop once more and continue on my adventure. We'll open the urn, and you've been spotted by an urn snake. Prepare to defend yourself. Okay, so in this case, our reflex is 2. This snake has a higher reflex than ours, so this guy is going first. We go ahead and block. So the urn snake attacked you for 8 damage. You withstood 2 of the attack, getting hit for a total of 6. We'll go ahead and this guy has no defense, so I'm not going to use my special attack against him. I'll just do my normal hits, and I'll use my defensive ability here because this guy does a lot of damage. He has 5 to 9 damage. So I will use my shield wall, doubles my buckler. Wow, my defense is pretty much terrible at this moment, so it's probably not a good idea. The urn snake attacked you for 5. Oh, I picked the shadow, right? I picked the shadow blade. So shadow blade has an ability called Shadow Surge. With sudden bursts of agility, your reflexes skyrocket to 50. For the next 2 turns, you move like a shadow, dodging and striking with unparalleled precision. So you see here our reflex rating has been changed to 52. So we have a much higher chance to crit this guy. So if we swing, because we have really high reflex, but this guy has reflex of 3, so we just had a bad roll right there. We'll go ahead and block with our shield. The urn snake attacked you, but we dodged all damage. Great. We go ahead and swing once again. We viciously hit him for 7 damage, and we defeated the urn snake. So we had 2 life left. We inspect the remains and get into another battle. I'm going to go ahead and flee. I do got gold. So you throw a handful of coins at the elven archer, distracting them as you run through your life. Minus 15 gold. And we continue our adventure. We got into a rogue encounter. So here we kind of fought. This is our very first mini boss. We're at floor 10. These guys are pretty strong. So the rogue attacked you for 4 damage. You withstood 2 of the attack, getting hit for a total of 2. I don't know if I'll be able to defeat this guy. We did 14 damage. Oh, here, we got a critical hit. So we got a critical hit. We must have rolled a 7 because we have that base attack of 1 and we had a range of 3 to 6. So 6 plus 1 is 7 times 2 is 14. So we crit this guy for 14 damage. He got 2 defense. So we did a total of 12. But I think this is where I'm going to die. The rogue attacked you for 6 damage. You withstood 2 of the attack, getting hit for a total of 4, and were defeated by the rogue. Would you like to try again? And here we could hit retry, and we go back to the beginning. So that is a lot of what happened. But we didn't actually encounter the dungeons. That was the whole point. So I'm going to go ahead and head upstairs and see if I can get one of these. I don't mind if I get these wells and shops. Nah, see, now I got level 10 already. But now I'm stuck here. And I don't know if I'll be able to beat this guy. I didn't quite get enough gold to buy a potion. So that guy's tuned. That rogue right there is tuned really high. I'm at 1 life. He had 1 life left. I'm going to use my special defense. The rogue attacked you for 5. You blocked 7. The attack getting hit for 0. There we go. We blocked it. Why am I on the... Now we dodged. That's perfect. And we defeated the rogue. Okay, we got 1 life. And we defeated the rogue. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is the new dungeon that I designed. Right, so with this in mind, this little map right here, here's the new method. This is the old method where it was very linear. Here's the new method right here. So we're going to go ahead and explore the caverns. It'll open up. So the walls of the south crumbled and collapsed as you entered and see a slow moving lava flow. So these colors here, I just recently adjusted the black tone behind it, so these used to appear a lot better on the different color background that I had in the past, so they won't show up as good as it, I'll have to adjust that color to like orange or something more that kind of stands out. But you kind of see some of the options appear here. We can show our map, which doesn't appear at the moment. It just pops up the map UI, which will appear to show the chambers that we've explored. We're able to exit the dungeon at this button here now. We have the option to leave the dungeon here at the moment, just because we're still at the very first part of the dungeon here. You notice a faint glow emanating from something buried in the rock nearby. We can inspect the glow. As you reach inside the rock, you find a small child chest. Inside, you discover a handful of coins. So I can't see the text right here because I reset the game and the text went back to black. But we collected some amount of gold here. We got 67 gold now. And if we move east, we'll have a new chamber. So here, a vast magma chamber opens before you, dominated by the pools of churning magma. The air here is stifling, and you can hear the constant churn of molten rock. To the north, you see the faint glowing door, barely visible through the heat waves. So here we can kind of inspect the walls. The walls have been carved by something or someone. We can check the magma. The heat is too intense to get close. You might need something to protect yourself if you want to explore further. We head north. So here's that door that we saw. The glowing door north is made of obsidian with an intricate ruins etched on its surface, glowing faintly. As you approach, the ruins pulse with the rhythm that matches your heartbeat. There's an undeniable sense of power here, but also great danger. So here we can go ahead and check the ground. And we found nothing of interest, but it's been scavenged already. We can open the door, and you push open the door, slowly creaks open, revealing a hidden chamber filled with ancient armor. So we found an armor. We can't see it there because that text appears black, but we did find the lizard leather armor, and it became equipped. And now we can go south. If we go north, these options where we find stuff are no longer there. So anytime we found like that, we found some treasure here, that option isn't back. And you can kind of see how we move through the dungeon now. We move to the left. We haven't been here before. You stumble upon a hidden alcove hidden in the main path. The air here is slightly cooler, and you see a small stream of water trickling down the rocks. In the corner, there's a pile of bones, likely from an unfortunate adventurer who came before you. So we can inspect the bones, and among the bones you find a rusty key, which might open a locked chest somewhere. So if we look at our inventory, we now have a key in our inventory. It would have appeared here saying, hey, you got a key added to your inventory, but it's black. We can't see it with the black background. So we'll go ahead and head north. The ancient shrine an ancient shrine stands in the center of the room, covered in soot and ash. The statue of an old god watches over you with hollow eyes. There's an offering of gold and trinkets scattered at its feet, hinting at the reverence once held for this place. So we can go ahead and offer gold. You place some gold at the shrine's feet, and the statue's eyes briefly glow. You feel a bit stronger. We lose 10 gold, but our attack increases by 1. So if we look at our attack rating, our base attack is now 2, and our range from our weapon is 2 to 5. So our base attack adjusted up 1, but we still have that weapon that adjusted up 2 to 5. So we now do 4 to 7 damage total. So we'll go ahead and head east. Again, if we go, whoops, I went into a battle. I didn't even notice that, and I died. So me not looking, I went into the room to the right. I got into an encounter with a cave spider. This thing has a massive amount of reflex over me, so I'm not sure if he crit me. Now, he just did a lot of damage really quickly to me, and we got defeated. So you were defeated by the cave spider. Try again. And what happens if we exit the dungeon? We retrace your steps in eerie silence of the catacombs pressing in around you. Yeah, we died. We go to the beginning. But that is it. As you can see, the dungeon, the old way, you could just kind of hit whatever buttons and you would just get to the end very quickly. Here in the new method of dungeon exploration, you really have to, go through the dungeon. If we would have went to the room 13 here without having found the key, the option to go north wouldn't have been available. It would have just said, hey, here's a gigantic door up ahead to the north, but it looks like it requires a key. I'll have to go back through the dungeon and locate that key. If we noticed here in room 4, when we clicked on, oh no, that would have been here. There was a note in this room. So this is the room that we kind of went in, and up here we found the armor to the north of the door. We came back down, moved to the left, moved up to the statue where we gave some gold for that buff. And then here at this time we moved east into this room. If we had defeated the bat, we would have been able to find a crumpled note on the ground, which would have gave us a hint as to where the room is at, what room it's in. And then we could have searched in that room for the item by just hitting, the options that are there. But we ended up dying to the bat swarm. So, it was spiders. So spiders took us out. But that is just the new style of dungeon. It's not very linear. You do have to read and choose the options, not get lost in your dungeon. Otherwise, if you begin to get lost, you gotta pay attention to those options. But that is some of the changes that have been made within the last 2 weeks to the game, where we've added additional adventures. I just don't have them loaded at the moment. I just have, I think, 2. I think I have the Ancient Ruins, and then I added the Volcanic Caverns here recently with the new design. And then I went ahead and I haven't redesigned all the old adventures at the moment, but I just kind of removed them from being chosen. And then I've only added 1 dungeon at the moment as, hey, will this work to enter the dungeon, go through the options, not let the items be found multiple times, have battle encounters, have to have a master key in order to have the mini boss, defeat the mini boss in order to get to the actual treasure. I am planning on making unique items that can only be found through dungeons. So instead of being given an item that you would normally find throughout your adventure by defeating a mob or opening a chest, these would be unique items that you'll have to go through specific dungeons or just dungeons in general in order to get along throughout your adventure. So that is it for devlog number 2. Let me know down in the comment section below, what do you guys think of the updated changes? Is there anything you would suggest be added, removed, changed? All of that fun stuff. I did have some good comments in the last video and throughout some of the other Discord chats and discussions I've had back and forth. So I did post some of that here in the feedback. So from others that have also chatted here and commented in the YouTube comments and other Discord chats and stuff. So I've put a lot of the combat feedback, directional feedback and such from others in the community. So with that said, I do appreciate everyone hanging out with me today. Again, if you guys are brand new here to the channel, go down below, give this video a big old thumbs up. Let's see if we can beat 9 thumbs up, I believe is what we had last time. So let's see if we can beat 9 thumbs up on this video, and subscribe if you guys are interested in additional content of this nature, games in general, game development, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.